tough patch.
The Honourable David Cunliffe.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And in speaking to this section of the appropriations debate on the primary sector, it's a good opportunity on behalf of the Labor Party just to acknowledge all of the hard-working men and women of our primary sector, our farmers who get up early every morning and go and milk the cows and till the fields and provide the backbone of the New Zealand economy. So we want to acknowledge them. The Minister has talked about water management. I want to talk a little bit about water management too. I'm not going to talk about the white elephant that is Ruataniwha that the government cannot make pay, nor am I going to talk about the white elephant that's brewing in Ashburton, where the Ashburton Council is doing a sweet deal by the sound of it to somebody while bearing the risk of an aquifer that might go bad. I'm going to talk about a river that I'm rather fond of, the Manganui River in North Taranaki. When I was a kid, I used to fish for trout in the Awakino, which is right next door. The government has sold 1,300 acres, or approved the sale of 1,300 acres, hectares of iconic land on the side of the Manganui River to a Panamanian registered company called Keole and Muir. And that's come to New Zealanders' attention by a thing called the Panama Papers. And that sale was approved by a government agency under Minister Louise Upston called the Overseas Investment Office. You might call them the Overseas Investment Optimists, because they are the kind of office you have when you don't really have an office. They accept the word of foreign investors that they are of, quote, good character. And they do that through a thing called a statutory declaration.
Order. We're on the sector debate, and I'll ask the member to come back to the primary industries, the primary sector. This is what it's about. Honourable David Cunliffe.
Mr. Speaker.
No, I've ruled.
Point of order, Mr.
Honourable
Speaker.
David Cunliffe.
Mr. Speaker, I'm advised by our whips that you are taking, as is the agreement of the House, a broad-ranging approach to this, where we're clustering related groups of portfolios.
We are clustering them, and this is to do with the primary sector. And when I'm on my feet, the member will sit. And you must relate whatever you're saying back to the primary sector. I have not heard one word yet in the time you've taken on the primary sector. Honourable David Cunliffe.
Mr. Speaker, the primary sector requires good land and water management. The Manganui River borders the Onitai Station in North Taranaki in the primary sector that was purchased by Raphael and Federico Grozowski, two gentlemen from Argentina and Italy, who have criminal convictions for toxic waste pollution in the Lujan River in Argentina. But the Overseas Investment Office thought that was no threat to our primary sector. They were happy to tick off the sale of iconic primary sector land bordering the river, the Manganui River, to a group of people who have criminal prosecutions and have been held criminally responsible for toxic waste pollution. Really bad pollution, carcinogenic pollution that made people seriously ill, for which they were criminally responsible. But our Overseas Investment Office did not protect our primary sector, did not protect our land, did not protect our awa, the Manganui River, from this purchase, because they did not even check the bona fides of the investors. In fact, it may be, sir, that the particular people they thought were the ultimate shareholders of the purchase of this land in the primary sector were not, in fact, totally the shareholders at all, and they've said they can't tell. Furthermore, Mr. Speaker, we now have information sourced from the UK Companies Office and from a Florida court that shows that one of the directors of this company, which purchased this land in our primary sector, was actually tied up through another Panamanian company with a large-scale scandal involving the possible non-payment of tax in relation to the football sector in Europe, to the tune of tens of millions of dollars. My point, sir, is that the watchdog, the supposed watchdog of the sale of iconic New Zealand primary sector land, is not doing its job. It is taking investors' word for it, and they cannot even, by their own admission, do a simple Google search to find out if somebody is who and what they say they are. Can't do a Google search. The proof of that, sir, is that they have announced today a review, finally, which is what Labor has been calling for weeks now, an independent review, and they've said themselves, amongst the things they want to find out is how to use Google. Unbelievable. This is the government agency presiding over the sale of thousands and thousands of hectares of New Zealand land. In fact, they've only turned one down in the last 5 years. They've approved 99.85% of farmland sales. The only one they turned down was Lochinvar Station. And that was after weeks of public attention and ministerial intervention. Mr. Chairman, if New Zealand's going to have a primary sector, it's got to take care of its land.